So I got a really weird message from Twitter today. Very, very strange indeed. I was asking my other friends, I have lots of friends who vote Republican like I do, and I was asking them if they got this message, and indeed they did not. I am the only one that I know that got it, so I thought I would read this to YouTube and see what you guys make of this. I mean, I'm not going to offer too much of an opinion about this. I'll just wait to see what you guys say. So let me back up and we'll check it out. As part of our recent work to understand Russian-linked activities on Twitter during the 2016 U.S. presidential election, we identified and suspended a number of accounts that were potentially connected to a propaganda effort by a Russian government-linked organization known only as the Internet Research Agency, or the IRA. Consistent with our commitment to transparency, we are emailing you because we have reason to believe that you either followed one of these accounts or retweeted or liked content from one of these accounts during the election period. This is purely for your own information purposes and is not related to a security concern for your account. We are sharing this information so that you can learn more about these efforts and the nature of the Russian propaganda effort. You can see examples of content from these suspended accounts on our blog if you're interested. Hell yeah, I'm interested. So let's see what's up here. All right. Update on Twitter's review of the 2016 U.S. election. Twitter public policy. When we appeared before the United States Congress last fall, Twitter publicly committed to regularly updating both okay, blah, blah, blah. The retroactive investigation of what happened. So in other words, Congress is pulling Twitter up there and saying, you guys, you're to blame. You're to blame for Trump winning. You guys help Russian bots, or you were a platform that allowed Russian bots to influence people. So apparently, consistent with our commitment to transparency, we are emailing notifications to 677,775 people in the United States who followed one of these accounts. So I'm one of these people. So not very many people got this email. I am fortunate indeed. Yeah, all right, so they already suspended these accounts. We're not going to be able to see everything, but these are examples of IRA content. These are things that they were posting that, like, you might have seen. You might have said, hey, Pamela Moore, you're pretty funny. I want to follow you, and not know that Pamela Moore is a Russian spy. Like, Pamela Moore is an apparatchik. She's working straight for the Kremlin. And this is what she tweeted out. Okay, Obama called me a clinger. Hillary calls me deplorable. Let me see if I can fix this. Terrorists call me infidel. Trump calls me American. Wow. That just, you can tell Putin probably photoshopped this right onto the back of this guy. This guy's probably at a rodeo, and this was just a blank shirt, but probably Vladimir Putin, he photoshopped that on there, and you could tell that's foreign. That is not American. No American said anything like that. And to say that that's a great shirt, ridiculous. It's definitely Russian propaganda. Here we have a picture of Bill and Chelsea watching Hillary lose the second debate against Trump, and she really did. The caption, you don't even need these polls. Donald Trump won. You can read it on Bill Clinton's face. Yeah, but once again, pronounce the W's as V's, and it's pretty clear this is Russian influence. This is Vladimir Putin, and he is, trying to change everybody's minds. Like, most people saw that debate and thought Hillary did great, and yeah, but then, like, the Russians got involved, and thanks to memes like this and tweets like this and people like me who may have seen this tweet and retweeted it, which I didn't, but I may have, the Russians really swung the election. Look, Tennessee, 10 Tennessee GOP, so 10 GOP. More Russian propaganda. Fire Comey, resign now. The American people. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. FBI Director Comey, resign now. the American people. What a lie that is. The American people. What a lie. It was the Russian people. It's the Russian government that wanted Comey to resign now. And in no way did these sentiments about FBI Director Comey resigning, in no way did that alternate between the kind of Democrats and Republicans back and forth between the periods of June and the election of last 2016. Retweet if you also think that FBI Director Comey should be impeached for blocking the investigation and abetting a criminal. Yeah, November 6th, look, that right before the election. So that was definitely important. Probably swung the election for Trump. Crystal Johnson. Fake American name. Cops have killed 68 people in 22 days since Copernic started protesting. 68 in 22 days have no words. Keith Lamont Scott, definitely Russian. That's a Russian concern. Pamela Moore again. Oh my God, Pamela Moore. Gee whiz. She's something else. This is right out of The Witness. You ever read that book? This is right out of The Witness. Retweet if you think President Trump should put George Soros on the FBI most wanted list. MAGA. Yeah, you know, I mean, listen. Again, these were not things that were on the minds of most Americans. They were implanted there by the Soviets, the former Soviet Union. Yeah. So good. So they identified both more RIA and automated Russian-based accounts because these accounts were basically, they were bots. They weren't real people, but they were just spinning out these tweets and spitting them out rapid fire. You know, I mean, there are probably like 1 billion of them. There are probably 1 billion of these, you know, Russian bots that had invested Twitter, and they were launching, you know, this propaganda, you know, in the 10-week period before the 2016 election, when still nobody had made up their mind. Yeah, and so they really had a big effect. Oh wait, we have identified an additional 1,062 accounts that associated with the IRA. We have suspended all of these accounts for terms of service violations, primarily spam, and all but a few accounts which were restored to legitimate users remain suspended at the request of congressional investigators. We are also sharing those account handles with Congress. In total, during the time period we investigated, this is going to be a big number, but 3,814 identified IRA-linked accounts posted 175,993 tweets, approximately 8.4% of which were election-related. Wait a second. That can't be right. That's practically nothing. We've also provided Congress with the results of our supplemental analysis into activity believing to be automated election-related activity originating out of Russia during the election period. Through our supplemental analysis, we have identified 13,512 additional accounts for a total of 50,258, oh right, automated accounts that we identified as Russian-linked and tweeting election-related content during the election period. Well, I'll bet that's a lot. I bet that's a big percentage of Twitter users during the election period, representing approximately 0.02% of the total activity on Twitter at the time. That's that can't be right. However, such activity represents a challenge to democratic societies everywhere, and we're committed to continue. This is sarcasm. This is Twitter being sarcastic. If I didn't know any better, I would think that this was them taking the piss on Congress. This is ridiculous. You got to be kidding me. They're admitting here that this was completely insubstantial and ridiculous, and you know, the amount of tweets, the number of tweets, the percentage of tweeting that went on during that time period, along with these innocuous, bland, inane tweets that they use as examples here of Russian propaganda. They have to be joking. I think they are joking at this point. So let's go back to the email and finish up. People look to Twitter for useful. Wait, did I? Yeah, okay, I looked at the right place. People look to Twitter for useful, timely, and appropriate information. We are taking active steps to stop malicious accounts and tweets from spreading, and we are determined to keep ahead of the tactics of bad actors. For example, in recent months, we have developed new techniques to identify accounts manipulating our platform, have improved our process for challenging suspicious accounts, and have introduced new measures designed to identify and take action on coordinated malicious activity. In 2018, we are building on these improvements. Our blog also contains more information on these efforts. No thank you. People come to Twitter to see what's happening in the world. We are committed to making it the best place to do that, and to being transparent with the people who use and trust our platform, Twitter. This is all a joke. This is all a laugh. They are being funny because otherwise this is insulting. They're either just doing this to appease an insane, mourning, desperate, aggrieved Congress, Democratic Congress, or they are being extremely insulting and they are just as aggrieved themselves. But it doesn't seem like it, because their examples couldn't have been more ridiculously innocuous. I'm sure I didn't retweet any of those, but I'm sure I retweeted something like that. I was very active on Twitter during the election, like everyone was. I may have followed an account that I thought was particularly amusing, was posting amusing content. I don't know. I don't remember now, because it was so damn long ago. It was a long time ago. We've moved on now. The country's doing just fine under this president, I'm sorry to say. I know people are still very upset, but life does go on, and it's time for everybody to kind of move on. Now, as for Russian interference with the election, too bad. Undo the internet. Unfortunately, the internet kind of is a way of people connecting. Okay, there are no borders on the internet. There is no possible way for Twitter to protect exclusively American voters from foreign voices who want to tweet at them. There's no way for that to be done. You cannot put the toothpaste back into that tube, you people who are against borders. I'm sorry, there are no borders on the internet. So whoever wants to say whatever they want to say about the election during our elections, they're going to be able to do so. The good news is we can do the same thing. So I'm sorry, but this is just the world we live in now, and we're all just going to have to get over it. We're going to have to get over it, and you're going to have to trust your fellow Americans that they have their own minds, that they're not programmable robots. I know many people wish that that were the case, so that it would explain the fact that they didn't get their way in November, but it isn't the case. Most people had their own reasons, made up their own minds, and are quite happy with the way they voted and the way things turned out. Twitter, Congress, you're going to have to get over it.